Our CoSA program is our core members, and we're happy that so many of them could be with us tonight. CoSA is a voluntary program, and the core members who are part of CoSA choose to take on this extra accountability and commitment to the circle. The volunteers value this commitment and the relationships they build with their core members. Tonight we're going to hear a few words from some of the volunteers about their experience at CoSA. So I'd like to invite to come forward Jenn, Steve, and Carol, who will each share a couple of minutes with us.
Hi everyone. So I'm Jenn, and I've been volunteering with CoSA for about 8 months now. As a Christian, I believe that we are both deeply loved and called to share that love, but we are also capable of inflicting pain and suffering on ourselves and others. Alexander Solzhenitsyn was a Russian writer who spent a long time in the Soviet Gulag. He also reflected on this idea and came to the conclusion that the line between good and evil runs directly through every human heart. I recognize this truth so strongly in myself. So many times that I've made the wrong decision, that I've fallen short, that I've hurt my family, my friends, and my community. But I am forgiven continually, and I am loved, and this is what I want all of us to experience. No one is disposable because of the mistakes that they have made. And that includes me, and that includes all of you as well. Solzhenitsyn has a bit more wisdom to impart. This line through every heart, it oscillates throughout the years. It moves and it shifts. I can recognize my mistakes and learn from them, and reorient myself to the loving side of my heart. This is what is so powerful about the CoSA community. We take each new member, we give them love, support, and guidance, so they have the tools to move that line in their heart. This is definitely not an easy task. This is a lifetime of work for each of us that requires a community to surround and support us. This is why I chose to volunteer with CoSA, and why I'm so proud to be here with all of you tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. Ironically enough, a couple of weeks ago, my wife didn't know I was going to do this, and she asked me, why do you volunteer with CoSA? Is it because you're trying to redeem yourself for your sinful life? I said, no. If I don't, Bakken will never leave me alone. I suffered an accident when I was 23 years old that turned my life in a 180. And through that experience, I was forced to change careers. But I learned patience and humility, understanding, and unconditional love through that experience. And my 180 of changing my career led me to be a teacher for the last 32 years of my life, and I got to use those skills with my students, and I'm blessed for that. And when I retired 3.5 years ago, I all of a sudden had him knocking at my door, and that's Bakken again, yeah, and saying, now you got the time to help me, and I saw a new opportunity to use the skills that I was blessed with using for my teaching career. We all have our own story why we're here, and everybody has a reason. And I truly believe that we're all here because we were called. And some are called to be clergy, some are called to be teachers, some are called to be medical people, but for some reason we're all here in this room together, and we all have our story, and that's mine. Thank you.
Some years ago, a friend of mine challenged me to volunteer CoSA. And I didn't tell him in words out loud, but I thought to myself, no way, why would I ever do that? I was sexually assaulted at 15 years old, and the resulting overwhelming sense of shame, guilt, and self-loathing made me feel like a piece of human garbage, and my life turned into a train wreck for the next 12 years because I made choices according to my self-belief. Then I decided to start making better choices with my life. And, but nevertheless, that sense of shame, the deep sense of mistrust of men followed me and affected all of the relationships in my life, including with my very loving husband. I had forgiven, but how long does it take to heal? It took me 2 years of prayer and soul searching because I just couldn't. You should volunteer with CoSA. It was up here. And I prayed about it. I didn't know what to do with it. I thought finally one day, I had this insight. And it was when you have a predator and a victim story, it is not a one-part tragedy. It is a two-part tragedy. Because both people are holding very twisted beliefs about who they are, subhuman beliefs. So I decided to say yes to the challenge. And I get this phone call, and I could see it was going to be to book the orientation. My heart started palpitating, and I thought, I'm just going to say no, I can't do this. And I sent a quick SOS, and it was like, if you say yes, it will be the right thing to do. So I said yes, and I find myself walking toward the first meeting. My knees are turning to rubber, and I thought, what did I do to get myself into this? So I walk into that room, and there was Maureen, Peter and Margaret, George, and our core member. And he had to spill beans about what he had done. And from that very moment, I never felt anything for him except goodwill and a deep desire for him to succeed at reclaiming his humanity. That was a miracle. I felt that was a miracle in my heart. I've come to understand how challenging it is for a core member to reintegrate into society. I've come to respect him very much for the hard work he's put in, and I mean his hard work. I have really enjoyed celebrating his successes with him, with our group. It's been an amazing journey. I'm not a hero. I am not better than him. To me, he's like a brother. It's just human to human. Don't feel responsible for his decisions. I know that the decisions he makes, it's always up to him to choose the right path every day. So we in our CoSA group have been witness to him reclaiming his humanity, and he has helped me to reclaim my humanity. So to all the core members here today, I just want to say thank you for your courage and stepping up, and just the fact that you're here. Nobody was obligating you to request a support and accountability group, and yet here you are today, and that is demonstrating, it is just shows how much hard work you've done to be here today. You are taking control of your history and making a better story. And another insight I received from being part of CoSA is all of you. Imagine if you added up all the hours, all of the passion, all of the goodwill toward humanity. You're not the kind of people to kick someone when they're down. You're the kind of people to lend a hand to your neighbor. And if we all know there's people like you around the world, and this is going on. Wouldn't you like to hear about that on the evening news occasionally? The world is a great place because of people